Hi everybody, this is the other thing I'm going to do on the Leopard apart from the bearings, which is I'm going to put some lenses in and show you how to do it. I'm going to try and do the ones on top from the outside, so that if you don't want to take the turret apart, you don't have to. And then the ones in the driver's hole, where you've had to take this off to do the bearings, makes these really easy. I'm using my now film technique, because it's like a bluey green colour on the Leopard, I think. And it's just this I'm going to use for the driver's scopes because it's really quite thick. It's easy to cut. You score it and then you snap it off. You score it quite deep. And then for the upper, I'm going to use, I think this is it 1mm clear plastic with this stuck on it with star glue, which is the stuff that you just stick the nails on. So let me just cut some stuff up. I'll show you how to cut the perspex and then we'll go from there. Right, we'll start with the thinner stuff, and I'm going to, like I say, try and do this from the outside. This one might be a bit interesting because that's a vision block, a proper one that you stick up through the hole. So you might not be able to get away with that, but I'll have a go. When you get this, it should come with two protective films. Take the white one off. I know some people say it's nuts, but well, you can take the other side off if you want to. But I prefer this side because I know I've done it. I suppose they put the white side so that you know not to take it off when you put it in. Anyway, so yeah, and then what I'm going to do is stick this on with star glue. All right, and then you just let it dry, and then you can cut it out from there. You don't have to take the backing film off. I'll show you in a sec. Right, so there's the star glue put on. You want to try and get it so there's as little lines in it as possible for when it dries, because when you put the film on, you'll see all of any paintbrush lines if it's on too thick. So you've got to put it on there as thin as you can. All right, and then it will dry clear. And then hopefully when you put the backing films on, you won't see any lines. If you do, it doesn't matter because it's in such a small gap. It's basically for these ones up here, the commanders. And I'm going to try and do these without having to take the tank apart, because if you want to do this and you're scared of taking a turret apart, you can do it the way I'm going to show you. So it should be all right. This one's going to be slightly tricky because that is a proper push-up vision block from below, but I have an idea of what I can do to make that work. Fingers crossed it'll do it. So we can still do it without taking the turret apart. Okay, so then anybody can do it. And then the lower hole bricks, they're really easy. They're going to be really, really simple, because you've had to take the bottom hole off, put those bearings in if you want to, and taking the bottom hole off is really, really simple. It's nothing to worry about at all. Anyway, let's wait for this to dry, and then we'll stick the film on. So here's the holographic backing fingernail film that ladies use. So I'm going to put this on here now, and hopefully it won't be too liney. I reckon you can spray that star glue for an airbrush, you know, but I don't want to wreck my airbrush for such small lenses. So we're going to put it on. Do it as though you're, because it's contact adhesive basically, so don't just lay it down on top. Start at one end and work your way along as though you're putting vinyl sheets down. You know what I mean? So start at this end and then push it down, and then use a rolling pin. It's a rolling pin to push it down more to get any air bubbles out. And then once it's dried, you can cut it up to any shape you like. Let me show you what it is when it's on. So if you see what I mean, so if you put it on, and as you go, it's a bit hard to do with one hand because you don't want air bubbles. Okay, so it's like that. Do you see? That's not an air bubble, there's something on the plastic, but you can cut around that. All right, so it looks like that, and it's quite effective. Let me finish this and I'll show you with a bit cut out. Now can you see? That's holographic. Don't worry about the distortion at the back. That's the backing film on the other bit of paper. These bits are dirt that got stuck in it, but we can cut around that. We don't need a massive amount of this. And this is the bit, you see, so it goes blue. You see? Now what we do is when we fit it, we don't fit it this way around. We fit it that way around. Because then it looks like there's glass in front and the laser film behind the glass, which is how it is in real life. And that's stuck on there like anything, so that's really cool. It's not going to come off. All right, but like I say, put the glue on as thinly as possible because otherwise it will show lines. And here's something I did years ago. Can you see it's a bit hard to see actually, but can you see there's lines in it? You see that? That's because the glue was too thick. When I first started using this star glue for doing this with holographic films. But this, I think, looks pretty convincing, and you're not going to notice any impurities really in it once it's that small and in those vision ports. Anyway, we'll crack on, and I'll put some of this now on the thicker perspex. And it's the same process, so I'll do that without showing you. Right, if you can afford it, if you can afford a digital cheap caliper from Amazon or something, I think this was £5–6. It's just really useful for measuring stuff like this, because you're there with a ruler going, how big is that? But with this, it's that. Then you can transfer it to whatever you're cutting. Okay, I think these are all the same. I have to get the damn turret out of the way. It's always slightly easier to do this with the tank stripped. Don't worry about that noise, it's got a ratchet gearbox on it, it's supposed to do that. So that should be the same. Yeah, and then this one, I'll have to do it the other way around. I can't do it with one hand, but see how that works? So try and get one of these. I'll put it in the description as well with the stuff that I'm using, the clear plastics, the nail films, and I'll put this in as well, and the star glue, so you know how to use it all, or where to get it from. All right, let's do this, and I'll put it on the thicker one, and then we'll start putting them in. Sorry, but it is really bitty, but then you transfer the measurement like that, and then you use a pencil. Oh, don't get all blurry. A pencil to mark where you cut. With this perspex, you just score it deeply, and then you can just snap it off. You don't have to cut all the way through. Okay, so let me just cut that, and I'll show you how it fits in the gap. This is for the driver's vision block here. Just doing this while the backing dries on the other stuff. So I've scored it with a scalpel. Then if you can afford one of these Tamiya plastic scriber too, they're really good. Then you scribe it with this once you've made the guideline with the scalpel or the craft knife, and then you can just snap it off with some pliers. Okay, and there we go in. I've just got to put the film on it, so it fits pretty easily, and it's so easy in this. You just stick up there. It doesn't have to be like the right size. It's even easier actually if you leave it a bit big to push it up. So it fits perfectly if you do it that way. I've just got to put the purple colour on it now, the bluey purple backing film, and I can do that and stick it in and let it dry while it's in it. It's not a hassle at all. So let's do the other one. So yeah, and you score it, and then you just snap it off. So literally I just stamped that off with my fingers. Yeah, I'll set this up on a camera, and I'll show it on a stand, and I'll show you what I mean by just snapping it off. Now I thought I'd just quickly show you why the cutting mats have all these squares and stuff. You can make sure that the cut that you're making is as straight as possible. It won't be able to see it, but I've made a little mark here for the length. So I'm just going to get my ruler, and I'm going to make sure that it's nice and square with all these squares on the cutting mat here and here. So it's not just to stop you cutting through your table. It's really useful. Then you score it with a sharp craft knife. Hopefully it doesn't move. And if you get your Tamiya scriber, this thing, okay, it's probably not going to work now. Ready? That's all. That's all it takes. It's really easy. This looks like it's really hard to cut, but it's not. That's all you have to do. And if you notice, it's a really clean cut. All right. Let me stick that into the tank, and I'll quickly show you what that looks like. We've nearly done the vision blocks for the lower hole. I mean, it really takes no time at all. Okay. Anyway, I'll come back in a minute. Right, I've put the first one in. Here's the second one. And to put them in, I'm just going to quickly test fit this. That's fine. Okay. To put them in, you can just use normal old super glue, because the perspex is so thick it shouldn't cause frosting. Hopefully say it now, it will. And make sure when you put these on, it's the right way around. So you want the film that we've put on to be on the back side. Okay, so the film this side. Oh, so the film this side, clear side going in. Where is it? Oh, up we go. There we go. So let me take this off the stand and I'll quickly show you what that looks like. So there's two of them in. Don't focus on that. You see? So it's holographic and it's on the back of the films. It's a little bit redder than I wanted, but I didn't plan to do this on this. I would have taken my time to look for some different nail films that came out a little bit more blue. Maybe blue to pink would be better. But it's better than having nothing there, isn't it? So if you do this, maybe find some better nail films that are a better colour. But this is just for this at the minute. Okay? And I'll finish off that one. And then we'll get onto the tyre. I'll show you how to put those in. Hopefully without taking it apart. Right, here's the strip I've cut for the Commander's cupola sight. I did this one, it's a bit too big. It's not 4mm, it's 3.8. You can't really get the calipers in there to measure that. So it looks like that. I stick it with the star glue as well. Wait a minute. There we go. So that's the white stuff you can see, but it will dry completely clear. If you can do it, I would highly recommend you take the turret apart and do it from the bottom. It's really easy. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry and then we're gonna do the other blocks around the other side. But if you can take the turret apart, I would. I'm gonna persevere with doing this with the turret together and I'm gonna show you how to do it in a sec. Right, so I'm using star glue to stick these ones in. What I'm doing is I'm putting in one end first and then squeezing it into the other end. And it's really fiddly. And like I say, if you can take the turret apart, do it. If you can't, you can still do it this way, but you need a bit of patience. I'm sorry about the light in my room. This is what happens at this time of day. And this is why the T72's taking so much time, because I lose quite a lot of time because of where the sun comes in. So let me put this on the stand and I'll show you what I mean while I squidge it in. Hopefully you'll be able to see it. Right, hopefully you can see this. Make sure you take the plastic backing off. And then get it in one end. And this is why it'd be way easier to do this with the actual turret off. So you do that. That looks simple, but that was sheer luck then. And it should stick on the star glue. It's all down to measuring. You have to really make sure. Come on. There we go. You have to really make sure that one of these makes life so much easier, because you can just 10.9. And then you just put it back onto the bit of plastic you want to cut. So hopefully you saw that. I'm going to finish off the rest now. And then, yeah, if you hear crying, it's probably because it's fell into the tank. But it looks all right. And I just wanted this to show you that you can do this without taking it apart. But it would be a million times easier to take this apart and push them up into the slots, like I did at the front. Okay? Anyway, see you in a bit. Right, so that's them all in. If you can see any bits of white, that's just the glue, and it will dry completely clear. Okay, it will dry completely and utterly clear, so you won't notice. Maybe it looks a little teeny bit like silicone sealant, I don't know. But the other thing I did was also put some on the gunner's side, which you can't see. There we go. Right. I filled the hole in there with some black plastic card. That's where the viewing port block should come through. And I'm just in the process of building the block. This, if you put this in this side first with some super glue, you let the glue just go off and then you push it down and then glue it all around the other way. And you can get the excess off in a minute with a cotton bud and super glue remover. You don't have to, it should still be alright. And then, this is the little block. I've got to build it up a bit and put edges on it, but then that will glue in to there and we'll see what it looks like. Anyway, but I didn't have to take the turret apart to do it. So, if you don't want to take the tank apart, you don't have to. Okay, see you in a sec. The block's made out of black plastic card. The stuff backing it is 2mm thick, and the side pieces I think are like 0.75, and it's just edging pieces. And then it's got a piece of clear with the holographic fingernail stuff super glued to the back of it. Then that's super glued to the black plastic. So it's pretty simple, really. This is a bit above and beyond, so I don't expect somebody else to do this. But if you want to, that's how you do it. You can see, and I've got to tidy it up. I hate these new phone cameras. They just don't focus on what you want them to. There we are. So it's that shape, and I've got to tidy up these bits here and put a top bit on. But I'll show you when it's done. Right, so there's that lens in. Oh boy, was that a job. If you're experienced enough to take the turret apart, do it, because that'll be easy, because you just push it up through the hole. Doing it without taking the turret apart is quite a hard job. So basically it was just how I showed you. I just did a bit more edging on it and then sanded it down to that size. Cut it and sand it down. When I was making it, it was bigger, so I had something to hold on to. And then you sand it down, and you have to open up this frame a bit, because it's too thick anyway. And then put it in through the back. It's not even stuck in, it's in there quite tight. And I bordered it with black because it means I don't have to paint it. I mean, I might have to, where is it? Paint the back. But it's black, I think it's alright. Because trying to match the Heng long green could be a bit interesting. What I'm going to do before I do the weathering on it is I am going to gloss coat it. Not gloss coat, what I'm talking about. I'm going to semi-gloss coat it, put the decals on, the sticky ones, and then coat over them. And keep my fingers crossed that when I use the turret for my next project, I can get them off. I should be able to. Yeah, so that's all of the lenses in. And like I say, I'll put these videos on after I've released the unboxing and the testing videos. So these will go, if you want to see this, these will be all after I've released the video. This isn't on that one video. Sort of thing. And this is lenses for basically any Heng long tank. You can make them this way out of the 2mm acrylic, clear acrylic, and I think it was 0.75 acrylic. I put that one in. Again, that is just plastic, clear plastic. Where'd I put it? There it is. So basically it's just this clear plastic cut to the right size and then just glued in, and that was with super glue. And if it's thick enough, it shouldn't fog over if it's got air to to release the fumes onto the glass. Anyway, that's that little thing. Hope this is useful. See you soon. And if anyone's interested, that's what's inside the turret. It's really not much. And that's what I mean, if you can take the turret off, take this off the board, doing these glasses is so easy. That one, you'd have to remove the BB feed unit, but that's not a big deal. So that's the one that we just did that took me ages. But that'd be easy, just push it up into there, then you seal it all back up again. So it's much easier to take this apart if you can. It's only that amount of screws, and it places on top. The biggest thing, just remember where these wires come from, but it's all in the manual, so you won't have a problem with it. But it is easier to take the turret off and do it. Anyway, that's what it looks like inside. I'm just trying to sort out why the turret cheek is bent forwards, which is really annoying. Anyway, I'll see you in a bit. Yeah, so this is where the turret was warped. It's the bottom of the turret that screws into the top part, and it's warped, it's bent, it's bowed. So if you get a hairdryer and you heat it up and then bend it back the other way, but just be really careful you don't bend it too hard. This is as best as I could get it, because I didn't want to make a mistake and break it, because I have to wait for another one to turn up, and I wanted to get this done and show it could be done in 2.5 weeks. I'll see you soon.